Today, one more push day on the root cellar. I really want to get the roof on it today. Before I can get started on the root cellar, I've got to feed the animals. Night before last, it got really cold. I covered the strawberries. Last night, it got almost just as cold. I should have covered the strawberries, but I literally crashed out on the couch. So I'm hoping all these blossoms aren't frozen and that we'll still get early strawberries. We'll see. They look okay, but it's hard to tell right away. There's a starling right there at the peak of our house. They nest in that roof line. They've nested there every year we've lived here in the basically in the soffit, and we'll see how that goes this year. I don't know if their eggs are hatched yet. They go in at the peak right there, but if their eggs haven't hatched yet and they're still sitting on them, I may be tearing that apart while there's chicks in there. So we'll see how that goes. Starlings, they're not protected birds. They're kind of a nuisance in some ways, but my kids may end up raising them. I don't know. We'll have to look at the legality of that. Try to show you what geese do when they eat too much dry grain and I guess don't wash it down with enough water. I think it's kind of like they're choking on that dry food, but I always give them water because they seem to sometimes have trouble getting it down, but they always turn out fine. Go drink some water. Yeah, that doesn't look like fun. There's water right here. I've got like 2 days of eggs to gather, so I'm gonna bring a bucket. I'll tell you how many I get. That might be more than 2 days. I'm really in charge of the morning chores, and I've been rushing a little bit, working on the root cellar. 40 eggs. But they all look good. Wasn't any evidence of an egg eater, which is what I worry about if I skip checking them one day. So 40 beautiful eggs. There's a pretty one. You can see the apple blossoms are frozen on here, how they're brown. We have some big apple producing counties around here close by, and they've had years. This may be one of them honestly, unfortunately, they've had years where they've lost nearly their entire crop. I'm not worried about our trees. I'm not really planning on picking many apples till next year. I would have probably picked the fruit off because they're still small. Maybe next year we'll pick some apples. First thing I'm gonna do is just wet the whole lower portion down. I'm continuing my concrete cure. It's been 7 days since the footer was poured, 6 days since some of the block was laid, 5 days since some of the other block was laid. Is that right? No, 8, 7, 6 days. And so I want to keep it moist. It's still pretty moist. The block's dried out, but the mortar lines are moist. But I just want to have a really high strength building, so cure. That might seem a little obsessive to some of you, but if you think about it, if you're going to buy high strength concrete, 4,000 pound concrete, and you don't cure it, you might only be getting half or 3/4 of its strength. There's no reason to spend that money and not have, a 500-year product. Okay, I need to put in these foam insulation panels, and they go in those basically little empty spaces there between my purlins on top of the plywood, and then we can do roofing. I'm not going to actually flash this thing, and I'll tell you why. Flashing is like a piece of metal that comes down, The reason I'm not going to flash it, and I think I can get away with it and it'll still last forever, is because there's airflow out here. This is not a closed space, and so everywhere on the edge of the roof there's airflow and it can dry out. Additionally, it's all treated lumber on the outside, so I'm not flashing it. I will show you what I'm doing though. I'm not flashing it. I will show you what I'm doing. I am actually using this liquid rubber coating kind of as a flashing. It's called Chock full of nuts. Actually, that's the coffee I used to drink. Just called liquid rubber. This is actually a foundation coating. I have 5 gallons for the foundation down here, which I'll explain later. I previously said I wasn't going to treat the foundation, but I am. I'll tell you why. But that's another video. Back. What?
Your deal is back.
My camera is black.
Yeah, I know that.
I think I'm actually getting ahead of myself a little though. What's the order of events? The order of events, I need to put the insulation in first because, so I'm gonna put the insulation in from the top and then I'll show you the details down here. Hey, I couldn't find that liquid rubber stuff locally. I thought this was hilarious. It came in this box and this is what it says: heavy, caution, fitness weights enclosed, heavy. And I was like, what? Did Brianna order some weights? I don't think she needs any more weights. Well, guess what? It is a fitness weight, a 5-gallon bucket, and all of these are fitness weights too. And I'm getting stronger because of this work. All right, hopefully I have a brand new blade in here, Joy. I'll show you how to change the blade out on a razor knife. I think this end of this blade is new. Yes. I got one new end. That would be enough. Screw. Go get me some insulation panels. They're the ones that are cut into strips already. You'll just have to take the block off the top and bring me about 4 of them. You should be able to carry 4, 3 or 4. Alrighty, we're gonna do this. Perfect. There's a little hammer right there. Slide it down. Alright, we want it flush on this end, so push it back this way till it's flush. A minute. No, not right this second. So let me feel here. We'll mark it here. I need to mark the top. I can't see it. Let me see. Here, hold it there for a second. I'll try to lay down.
Dad, I'm baking this with you.
So what we're doing here, instead of any flashing, is I'm painting the edge of this plywood, the only untreated lumber, anywhere near the edge. And then we'll put in a piece like this. And you can see this insulation fits tight, almost too tight, to provide a nice seal here. But look at that. Super, super tight. And then what we're gonna do is just paint over that. And that's not a perfect seal, but it will provide some protection in the unlikely event any water wicks all the way up from here. And then the other thing we want to get, Joy, is just the outer edge of this board so it looks good. But try not to get the rafter tips. Look.
Got it.
All right. Don't paint to here quite yet. I kind of painted myself into a corner. I shouldn't have put this up first. I should have painted the outside run. So remind me, because now I have to climb up this narrow little ladder. I don't even know how to get up there. I have to climb up this narrow little ladder and paint that outside run. So remind me on the other side. Actually, Joyful's going to remind me to do the outsides, then do foam board from the top down, and then do this bottom run. No, I couldn't reach it very well. I'll climb up on there. It won't be too bad. I'll climb from the other side. Thank you.
Dad, you're funny.
Why am I funny?
Because you're on it. Don't step on my arm.
All right, taking you to the other side. We're doing this in the correct order.
Nice one. Can I climb that?
Why don't you move the nails and put them over by the fence? We'll have to cut.
Some more.
We'll have to cut some more. Well, we're close. Square piece. You can start painting this like we were on the other side.
Can I? Just want to do
She's gonna do it. Justice, we need to cut the next piece.
Can I have one more? I was just testing a piece of styrofoam, and I said they.
We're trying to use up some of our cutoffs, but we have this gap here, and I just want this piece up tight here, so I cut this little strip, and it works so far. All right, that's not perfectly tight, but it's acceptable. Sometimes you run into a product you just really like. I've never used this stuff before, but I'm really impressed with this water-based liquid rubber product. It's supposed to be applied in a bunch of coats, but even this one coat is an extremely thick protective layer. Pretty excited about it. Wilder's done a craft here. I think this is hilarious. This was completely his doing and his creation. What is it? What is it? Well, tell me.
It's your boy. It's your bird named Uncle Jeffrey.
It's my brother named Uncle Jeffrey. Here it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
This is his mustache.
That's his mustache.
Yeah.
There you go. There's my brother Uncle Jeffrey.
And he has his one.
All right, we see.
And his one fire legs on.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us. We see. It looks great. Good job.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Now it's time to put on a tar paper underlayment. It's kind of a challenge. Joyful's going to help me because it's just hard to handle and get it on straight. And it's hard to do on a roof like this too because it's too steep to actually walk on it without tearing the tar paper. So we'll have to we may have to lean a ladder up on it. We'll see. I'll go grab a roll.
Go out and ate that cereal this morning. A big bowl of it. What are the chickens down here?
All right, Joy, come on this side. Okay, we just got one sheet on. The kids are hungry. I'm hungry too, but it's time for lunch. So I'm gonna take them up the hill. I'd like to get this thing dried in. It may rain this afternoon. And I really want to get the roofing on it and just be done for now. Once I have the roof on, I can just kind of back away from it and focus on other things. Nice. Despite all your shortcomings, the one thing I can say is that you love being around us. I ate a really fast lunch. I'm about to head down the hill. It literally looks like it's about to rain. And I really want to get that dry so it doesn't get soaked. You gonna help me? That'd be so helpful. It's really a two-person job. I said, please, someone come help me. Grace is gonna come. Number one helper. We're basically ready to put the roofing on once that goes on. Maybe it won't rain, but it looks like it's about to rain. Okay, so first piece, get some nails maybe. Or I can do the nailing. It'll just barely last. We have enough to just run one that starts here and goes down. Okay, that one's done with Grace's heroic help. And I'm gonna come over to this side. Bree's trying to go to a friend's birthday party. Apparently her tire, not her tire, her battery's dead. I don't know, I think kids must have left the light on. We got the tar paper on, so it's dried in, which means if it rains, it'll stay dry in there. Now if a huge windstorm comes, tar paper can come off. Okay, you can start it. Okay, just wait a few minutes.
Huggy?
We already hugged and kissed so many times.
I can't hug.
What's in his hair?
He's bye. You bye. Toodles. Bye.
Okay, Bree's gone to her birthday party. One more push.
I'm staying right here.
Push means snack for the kids, so they'll be okay. Grace is up here on the roof putting sealant on nails. But I like that you put it there, but that'll hold the roofing up if it dries before we put the roofing on. While she's doing that, I'm getting ready to just frame out the front. I've had this up as a temporary safety bar on this front side so no kids just fall out. But I'm gonna put it back in a permanent position. Hey Joy, can you grab that big yellow level and hand it in to me? Okay. Alright, so we're just gonna kind of get an idea. I just cut not random lengths, but guesses at where this is gonna go. I can use this. Alright, hold that. Just gently put your hands on it. Don't move it around a lot, just gently hold it. That's good. Close enough. My idea was this would be the top of the window. I think that looks good. It could be slightly lower, like roofing time. How close are y'all to being done with that?
There's a few we can reach, but I think we can use the ladder for it.
Okay, great. We'll do this side first. First thing we're gonna do is put up a board that runs along here to catch the bottom of this roofing so we can kind of set it on there. What I'm gonna do is put a spacer here, which will be, that's how much the overhang will be. And then what we'll do, so the spacer will let go. Yeah, spacer will go here, and then I'll have a board here. So the roofing will sit here, and this will get my overhang. Okay, just a second. See, look right here. This will give us an inch of overhang. I put a spacer on, so it's gonna set against here. Now we just gotta lay out some sheets of roofing on there and see how square the roof is. It's pretty square, I know, because I've been cutting plywood and putting it on. It's not crazy out, but it's not perfect either. It's really funny. I'm like, yay, we got to the roofing! And the kids are like, hey Dad, we're busy in the middle of the game, and they just run off. Like, they don't even care. They're not like, yay! But this has been my focus, getting to this point for the past, well, it's not been that long. It's actually been 8 days since I was pouring the footer. I was pouring the footer on Thursday, and this is Friday. So it's moved very fast. I've worked extremely.
A new one.
You can use that one for a minute, but then you need to quit using it, because I don't want you to break that one. Can you give me some of those screws right there? Yep. There aren't any nails right there, no sir. This guy's having fun. He's been talking to me non-stop, which is great. Okay, it's done, and it looks awesome. But actually, it's actually only half done. This side isn't done yet, and the ridge cap. But we got a lot knocked out. But we've got to wrap up. I'm exhausted, but I would just keep working and pushing through it. But the kids are really tired. They're tired of being down here, and they're hungry, and it's 5 o'clock. So we're gonna knock off. Even though I'm disappointed I didn't get more done. I just have to stop, basically, and be happy with it. So that's what we'll do. It'll feel good to rest. I am whooped. I've been going basically for 8 days, and that's feels good, but it's tiring. So we're gonna knock off. I just took the last few minutes and just hung out in here in this cool little attic space, and I'm really glad we did things the way that we did them with this. Basically putting this plywood and some insulation in this tiny little space up here. I don't think I'll regret that.
How did you get in here?
I walked in. How did you get in? All right, now it's just clean up time. We're putting tools away. We're gonna do the chores, cover the strawberries. It's supposed to get really cold tonight, and then we'll be headed up the hill. One more time into the breach, my friends. I'm gonna carry hay. This is kind of the last job of the day, other than just kid maintenance care. Carry hay, check the cows, give the cows water, put the chickens up if I can get them up. It's kind of early. And then we'll be done with this.